started at the very top. Now, if you were wondering about white matter versus gray matter, this is the best way of seeing that. So look at yours and kind of see that gray matter versus white matter. Because all of this along the outside here is all of that gray matter. That's where all the cell bodies are. That's where all of the, where all of the unmyelinated axons and everything like that is. All of the white matter that you can see branching throughout there are all the myelinated axons. Okay? If we look at this one here, this big band here connecting the left and right halves, what is that? Corpus callosum, okay? And it connects the left and right halves of the brain together. And so that's where there's all that communication on both sides, okay? And you can see that it's not all the way at the very top, but it started here, and it's in this section, and this section, and this section, and this section. And that's because if you look at the sagittal section, it goes all the way from this rostral end all the way back over here. So that's why you have that in every one of these cross sections. You start to see it, okay? Now, the corpus callosum, if we look at this as well, who else did a cross section? Micah, give me that one, or yours, or somebody else's. Kind of what I want to show you is, like, as you're looking at it, we've got these ventricles, right? And just kind of give you an idea of looking at all of these spaces, these ventricles here. These are the spaces inside of our brain. So here, close to the top, you're going to see those lateral ventricles, okay? That corpus callosum communicating there. But even still on this one, you see this little thin membrane here? Mm-hmm. This is that septum pellucidum. It separates the two ventricles from each other. So if you look on here, you can kind of see it there. That's a very good angle of kind of seeing the two ventricles and then that septum pellucidum in between them, okay? So you can see that. Now these ventricles are filled with choroid plexus. Choroid plexus is what? Anybody? Oh, I just took it out. Blood. Blood vessels, right. This cluster of blood vessels and ependymal cells. And what does the choroid plexus produce? Anyone? Huh? What is the choroid? It's blood vessels and the ependymal cells inside of these ventricles, and they produce what? Come on. Cerebral spinal fluid, because that's what fills our ventricles, right? So all that fluid that fills up these spaces here, okay? So as we look down, you can see that choroid coming out in all of these here, in this one you can see it nice and clear, like right inside here. If I can grab it. Anybody have a blunt probe? One of the other, there's a lot in there. Oh, look at all that. It just came out of here instead of the pointy one. Do you have a blunt one? As we continue down, you can also see, like, this is part of the thalamus here. So this is our third ventricle. The third ventricle runs between our two thalami, those two groups that come together. Okay, so you can kind of see if this is my lateral ventricles up here, this is that third ventricle that starts to come between these two rounded thalami here, and that's what we've got here. Then this actually hole right here is part of the cerebral aqueduct. The cerebral aqueduct connects the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle as it runs down along the side of the cerebellum, right? So you can see that. Again, look at all this choroid plexus inside here, okay? Lots of it. Got it? So then it can continue down, and basically here's our cerebellum as it gets down to the base and stuff like that. So that's kind of one with that. I don't know whose that was. So do you have yours, Chris? Let me see yours real quick. So now here's our sagittal sections. When we look at the sagittal section, it gives us a completely different view. We don't really see that white and gray matter so much at all anymore, except where? Where can you pick up? Where? Well, we see that white matter there with that corpus callosum, absolutely. And where else? Just give me the two pieces. The what? The cerebellum. Thank you, Rachel. What is that in the cerebellum that you're seeing?
White matter and gray matter.
The tree, exactly. The tree of life, right? That, what's it actually called? This one is really clear. You can really see it.
Oh,
Arbor vitae. Yeah, you see that? How clear that arbor vitae is in that tree.
Arbor vitae.
Okay? So now when we look at these sections here, what we want to start looking at, again, we have that corpus callosum. Kind of show it here. You see this thick white band, that corpus callosum there. Underneath it is another band known as the fornix. Okay? This round layer right here is our thalamus. The epithalamus is above it, and then our pineal gland kind of sits right there on top of it. Okay? So like in theirs, this section here, they actually cut the epithalamus in half, or the pineal gland a little bit. You can see part of it here and a little part of it over here. Okay, this one, the whole thing is kind of over on this side. The ventricles, those lateral ventricles, you don't really see on this one, but you are seeing on this one. See, this is that lateral ventricle here, and again, the choroid plexus inside of it. See how I can pull that blood vessel out of every one of them, okay? But on this side, what's nice is that when I go into this lateral ventricle, I can see that septum pellucidum. You see that thin line there? You see? That thin layer of tissue, that's what I showed you between the two ventricles. That septum pellucidum is that thin layer that divides the two lateral ventricles from each other. Okay, so you can see that nicely there. Again, the thalamus is surrounded by the third ventricle, so again, there's more choroid plexus inside of there. Okay. As we move away from this diencephalon region here and into the midbrain, we can see that superior and inferior colliculi, right, on the sides. We can see the ocular motor nerve over on this side, right, and that's midbrain right here. This is our cerebral aqueduct as it's leading down into the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is right here between the pons and the cerebellum. So this space that we have here is that fourth ventricle. Okay? And then it leads down into what becomes that central canal that goes all the way down into the spinal cord. Okay? So we've got our midbrain. This is our pons. This would be our medulla oblongata. And then down here we're starting into our spinal cord. Now the spinal cord, we don't have a cross section of that. In our brain, we have the gray matter on the outside and the white matter on the inside. In the spinal cord, it's just the opposite, right? The gray matter is on the inside and all the white matter is on the outside. Any questions? Okay. Go back, kind of look at your own cross sections and your mid-sagittal sections and switch with table members.